Hello BookTube, it's Louise, the big head bookworm. Hope you are well on this Thursday the 16th of June. I'm here with my wrap-up of the books that I read for the IBW Childrens Award 2016. So there were 12 books nominated for the Children's Award, and I gave myself the little challenge to read all 12. Now, I didn't read all 12. Life happens. These things happen. And also I did get distracted by some other books, grown-up books. Because I have discovered that there are only so many children's books I can read before I go, I need a grown-up book. And I did, and I then got very distracted by them, and I then found it quite difficult to come back. But I read 8 out of the 12, which is good going. So I can do my top 3 out of those 8, and I'm going to do the book out of those 8 that I would like to win. However, I can't review the other 4. So I will go quickly through the books that I have already shown you. And that is 1 by Sarah Crossan. I read that. The Person Controller by David Baddiel. The Rest of Us Just Live Here by Patrick Ness. Whistling in the Dark by Shirley Hughes. Pugs of the Frozen North by Philip Reeve and Sarah McIntyre. The Boy Who Sailed the Ocean in an Armchair by Lara Williamson. So those were the 6 that I've already done a wrap-up video for. So I've read a further 2. The other 2 that I have read are Kenzuki's Kingdom by Michael Morpurgo, which I'm not holding that up straight. There we go. So Kenzuki's Kingdom by Michael Morpurgo. It's about a boy who wakes up, who's washed up on an island on the Pacific. Michael struggles to survive on his own. With no food, no water, he curls up to die. When he wakes, there is a plate beside him of fish, of fruit, and a bowl of fresh water. He is not alone. I did enjoy it. It was a one-sitting reading. It's not very long, and it's got nice big text. I would say 8+ for this is the range that I would say. It's the winner of the Children's Book Award. I enjoyed it, and my initial reading afterwards was, oh, that was very satisfactory, and oh, I really liked that. On reflection, I have been a little bit uncomfortable with the tone, in the fact that I found it a bit preachy. And whether or not that's because I'm a grown-up and therefore I'm used to subtlety and I just wondered, whether it was a nut being smashed by a sledgehammer rather than, and it was so overt, the environmental and the cultural influences in this. And I don't know. I wasn't comfortable with it afterwards. And then I thought, well, you're not 8, so you're not necessarily you're going to find it too simplistic. But it wasn't simplistic. It wasn't the fact it was simplistic that bothered me. I found it very one-paced. I found it very in some ways really fabulous, but in other ways I was a tiny bit uncomfortable, especially about the Kenzuki is Japanese, and there's the discussion about Nagasaki. I don't know. I ummed and ahed over this one. I can understand if it does win. It's a worthy book. And I guess I wonder whether that puts me off. And also, yeah, anyway, so I was slightly put off by that one. So that I don't know. I feel like my hair's wearing me today. Do you ever have that, where you feel like, oh, my hair is wearing me? And then the other book I read was David Solomon's My Brother is a Superhero, which is brilliant. So Luke is in the treehouse with his older brother Zach, but he needs a wee. When he gets back, his undeserving, never read a comic in his life brother has been given superpowers and told not to save not 1, but 2 universes. Luke is outraged. Zach doesn't even like comics. And it really, really plays with the superhero trope. It is very, very funny. I enjoyed it. It's got nice, bright covers. And I shall give you a little bit. Can I find the bit where if they try and find out what his powers are, because he was being told he had 6 powers, and they try and find out what his superhero powers are, and it is very. I have to say, it is very funny. It did make me laugh. Let me have a look. See what I can. No, I can't find it. I found a really good thing. Oh, it'd be good, isn't it? I've told you I found this really funny bit. Here it is. He's looking to save people, because as a superhero you have to go and save people. It says, and anyway, he added, Mum's never going to let us out on a school night. It is true. I sat down heavily on my bed and rested my head in my hands. The villains of the world were safe from the wrath of Star Lad, unless they committed their crimes between the hours of 3:45 p.m. and 5:30 on weekdays, quite near to our house. But on weekends and bank holidays they were in trouble. Oh yeah, big trouble. Unless, that is, they were up early. Zach had speech and drama first thing on Saturday mornings. And it has that tone all the way through. And it made me laugh out loud. The only thing I would say is, I was just saying Kazuki's Kingdom is quite a short book. This is 300 pages. And it is literally, the whole thing is like that. And there is plot and there is momentum, but the whole thing has that tone and it doesn't really change. And I was a bit like, oh, I was a bit ground down by the constantness of it. But I did really enjoy it, and I would recommend it for 10 plus. I think that they would really enjoy it, especially if they're a fan of comics, perhaps a bit older if you're a fan of comics, and you can see the daftness in the superheroes. It's really good for that. So I really enjoyed that. So the 4 I didn't read. I've got 2 of them here. How to Train Your Dragon, How to Fight a Dragon's Fury by Crescenda Cowell. I shall be giving that straight to Benedict because we have those books anyway. So I kind of felt like I knew what those books were like. I like the How to Train Your Dragon series. They're amusing. They've got good drawings in them. This is quite a chunky one. So there's a bit of dedication that needs to be done, but they are really good, and I think they're very much part of a theme. And then Time Travelling with a Hamster by Ross Welford. This is the one that they said is like A Curious Incident of the Dog at Night Time. And I slightly was put off about this because my dad died twice, but only the second time was my fault. And I'm sure it's fine, but I'm a tiny bit sensitive about books with the loss of a father in them, because I lost my dad. I lost my dad 5 years ago. And the immediacy of the grief has, of course, passed. But there are times where it is stronger. And we've got Father's Day on Sunday. And I didn't want to push myself. I thought I shall be feeling the emotions anyway. So don't go looking for it, is how I felt with that book. So I don't know what it's like. The 2 books that I was trying to get from the library, Goth Girl and the Wuthering Fright by Chris Riddell, and The Astounding Broccoli Boy by Frank Cottrell Boyce. I went to the library to get them out, and I picked the worst time to go. I picked the time where they do the mother and baby toddler rhyme time. So it's a sea of buggies and mothers with their babies and toddlers. And I kind of was obviously, kind of thinking, well, I can't, and they do it in the children's area. And I was kind of like, well, I can't quite get to the books. And so one of the librarians, it was just before they started, came over. Obviously, I had no child with me. So they were like, can I help you? And I was like, I was going to see if I could get these books out. And she's like, well, do you know if we stock them? I said, I think so. And she's like, well, I can move shelves for you if you really need them now. And I don't know what it was. Was it the move shelves, or if you really need it now? That gave me the impression that she was suggesting to come back another time. And I kind of I got this in. I looked at all these mothers and babies and buggies, and I just thought, I look like they could lynch me if I move things. I just thought, no. And I just went, no, it's fine. Yeah, I'll come back. I'll come back. Never did manage to get back. So I don't know what they're like, but great titles nevertheless. I'm still quite tended by the outstanding Broccoli Boy, just simply because I like broccoli. So we'll see how that goes. So, BookTube. My top 3 for the IBW Independent Booksellers Week Award 2016 for the children's book count. So my top 3, out of the ones I've read, of course. The Rest of Us Just Live Here by Patrick Ness. Really good, very amusing, the chosen one trope. A wide audience could read it. It also has a really good diverse character range, and I think that's the bit that's really I'm liking. The humour's very good. I found the story a bit saggy, but the diversity of the characters and, you know, for example, anxiety has become, the awareness of anxiety has become far greater recently, and it is, people are feeling a lot more comfortable about, I don't know whether they are comfortable about saying it, but there seems to be a lot more people opening up about the fact that they experience anxiety and they deal with a condition that means that they're going to experience greater anxiety and have difficulty with it. And it has, you know, characters with anxiety in it, and it has strong, good gay characters. So I thought that was good. So I thought, yeah, so that's number 3. Number 2 for me was One by Sarah Crossan. Really good, really fabulous. Very much about how we're different but we're the same. How we view difference. Powerfully written, unusual style in the writing, which really suited the story. A really wonderful experience to read it. Cried so much at the end. Really powerful, really, really powerful. Now, I was conscious of the fact that those two are at the older end, and looking at what won last year, again, it's at the older end of the older of the age range. And so this is I would like this to win. Pugs of the Frozen North by Philip Reeve and Sarah McIntyre, because it was brilliant, and I think the whole of the age range could read it, enjoy it, and get something out of it. The illustrations by Sarah McIntyre are glorious, funny, beautiful. They add to it rather than distract from the story. The words, they really connect well. Look at that. That's the giant squid. It's a lovely palette. It is quite cold in the fact of the green. It's really good. I really, really, really enjoyed it. It felt like a modern fable. It was funny. It features pugs. I really enjoyed it. And Benedict has already said to me, have you finished that book? And I just thought, an 8-year-old boy is going, have you finished that book? I want to read it. And yeah, so this is the book that I want to win. Because everybody could read it, and it's good, and it's funny, and it's just glorious. So yeah, so if you're going to pick up any of these books, those are my top 3, and that's the one. There we go. First time ever doing a challenge, and I'm disappointed I've not read all 12 of them, but I did kind of come to it late. I think if I gave myself a month and I could spread them out, I think reading a children's book, if I gave myself a month, I could probably have done it, but I was only giving myself a fortnight. I was bold. So that's it. I will be back for a quick update tomorrow when I find out who has won. The tension. Yeah, I hope you're well. Any of those you fancy? Go on, get it. I'll just put it over here. Get it. That's the one. Right. See you, BookTube. Let's do this again. Bye.